So they confirmed that indeed I was in stage 4. And the cancer was spreading very fast. So I was told that I had to start my treatment immediately. And so after 2 days, I started radiotherapy. And I went through 60 sessions of radiotherapy. I went through 8 sessions of chemotherapy. But during the process when I was going through radiotherapy and chemotherapy, radiotherapy was being done on daily basis. But chemo was being done after every 3 weeks. So after doing almost around 30 radiotherapies and 2 courses of chemotherapy, the doctor who was in charge of me discovered that my spleen had enlarged. And you know, the spleen is almost near the liver. And so if they couldn't act very fast, it would destroy my liver. So I had to go to the theater immediately. So I was booked for theater. And having that, I was having leukemia. I had no enough blood. So I used to undergo blood transfusion after every 2 days in the hospital. So that day I went through blood transfusion. After going through transfusion, I was taken to theater and I had a surgery which took 10 hours. And my spleen was removed because it had cancerous tumors. So they were trying to save the liver. But because somebody can survive without a spleen, so long as now you just take care of whatever you eat, where you go, the environment you are in, you can survive without a spleen. By the time I had left the country, we had left with a friend. I had left on 5th and she left on 8th, the same month, to go to New Delhi, India. She was at Artemis. So with her also, she had been diagnosed of cancer of lymphoma and she was in stage 2. So when I looked, I logged in in Facebook. The first thing I saw was a post from her sister. Her sister was my colleague, that she has passed on. I was shocked because what came into my mind was this lady. I said Lillian was in stage 2. She had no complications the way I am. She was only in ICU because she didn't have oxygen, only that. And me, I have so many complications. The cancer is spreading very fast. Her cancer was not spreading. The cancer has attacked all the organs in my body. So if she has passed on, even me, I know we are just wasting money. I'm not going to make it. But then that's the way I passed on. I collapsed, I can say. And I found myself in the intensive care unit. And that was to be my home for 40 days. I was in complete coma without noticing anybody around me. I was just lying there helpless. So one night, when I was in ICU, but by then the doctors, with them, they had known what had caused all this. I had suffered multiple organ failure. Remember I told you that my left kidney had been attacked by the cancer cells. So it had failed completely. I had suffered liver infection due to the surgery I had. My lungs were also collapsing. So I was put on machine. So I was just surviving through the aid of machines and the mercies of the Lord. So one night when I was in the machines stopped working. The nurse came. She called the doctor. They removed the machines and they declared that I had gone to be with the Lord. But then, after some minutes, I think when I was there, I can see I was in heaven. I saw a voice, I heard a voice telling me to go back, I'm still with you, go back. I could hear echoes, go back. Then I just pulled the tubes and woke up. And the nurse was also there standing. He dialed the bell, he called the doctor, and he told the doctor that this patient is not dead. So they returned me back to the machines. And that's the way life continued. But what I want to tell people is from there is that if God has not decided that you are going to die, you won't. Never lose hope. Continue fighting and have that strength to fight and believe in the faith. So I know my faith is what was working on me. And I had prayer warriors all over. People were praying for me. This family I'm staying with here, they were praying for me. My mom here, I call her my mom. She's not my biological mom, but she's like a mother to me. She was praying for me. She could fast even for 1 week without going with any food. And she has peptic ulcers. But because I was a daughter to her, she could pray. Everybody was praying for me. My colleagues, my family, my friends. So I think what kept me going was the Lord God. I remained in ICU. I recovered, was taken to high dependency unit. I recovered there. Then the doctor decided that it was a high time they tell me the truth. So I went through counseling session again, and they told me that while I was in coma, they had discovered that I had suffered from multiple organ failure. Even though now they have been able to treat the liver infection, my lungs are back to normal, but I'll have to survive with one kidney, the right kidney. So I have to take it positively so that I continue with my treatment. And me being somebody who is, I always say that I'm a strong lady. I don't allow a disease to defeat me. I told the doctor I'm ready to fight it. And I have my God and Jesus. And it is Jesus who made me come out of that situation in that room. I could puke most of the time, but if you are undergoing chemotherapy, immediately after chemotherapy, the best remedy was you take the ginger, take hot water, dip it there, the raw ginger, and drink it. It may be bitter, but it will save you from vomiting a lot. So that's what I used to do, and that's what kept me going. And I used to read the Bible most of the time. I used to pray. And if you have cancer, if you've been diagnosed of cancer, be close to God and you'll make it. And today I want to tell you that anybody who has cancer, if you don't know God, you'll go to the grave. Because I think cancer is a disease which was brought to make human beings to become closer to God. Because the moment you have been diagnosed of cancer and you have your prayer, then you have prayer warriors also. You can never, nothing can defeat prayers, nothing can defeat God. And so I believed on that, and that's what kept me going. And that's why I keep glorifying the Lord's name. So after finishing chemo, I went through a successful bone marrow transplant, which was a success. I thank God it never failed, because I was told that if it fails, I start the whole process again. After recovering from the bone marrow, I thought I had conquered cancer, but I was wrong. The battle was still on. I continued with my prayers. People used to pray for me. They used to try to find out how I'm going on and everything. But then I was given the worst news again. My right kidney failed. It stopped working. So I had to go through dialysis. And the problem was, I am a cancer patient. I'm still undergoing cancer treatment. According to the laws, anybody who is suffering from cancer or any terminal disease, which is very fatal to their lives, should not undergo a kidney transplant unless you finish that treatment. Then you relax maybe for 6 months, is when you can go for another transplant. And being that I'd also undergone a surgery, so I was weak. Generally, my body was weak. So I was put on dialysis, which I went for, it was 2 weeks, but on thrice a week, but for 2 weeks. But then I had a good doctor. We talked with him and he said that for him to save my life, he had to take a risk. The risk was, I accept that they do for me a kidney transplant, though it was risky. This was something maybe I would have lost my life or I survive. Then I just said that I have God. It's God who has brought me this far. And it's God who brought me out of ICU. So why should I not go through that kidney transplant? And that's how I ended up undergoing a kidney transplant, which was a success. I was given a single kidney, which was a success. By then, I had not been told that after having a transplant, you'll be undertaking medications every day. I didn't know. So I just knew after the transplant, everything is normal. So I went through the kidney transplant. It was a success. I thank God it didn't reject me. I recovered, then came back to the country.
After spending 10 months hospitalized in India, Betty is discharged and now comes back to the country. We take a short break, and when we come back, she will share more with us.